All right, everyone, so today is the 23rd consecutive green day. Another solid day, a little tricky. Had a couple trades right out of the gates, lost some money, had to get myself back into the green, but I did it. Up $401.22. As usual, any questions, any comments, leave them below. We'll come back through and answer them later today, and I will see you guys first thing tomorrow morning, 9:15 for our pre-market analysis. All right, everyone. So we're going to do our midday market recap. This is a little bit later than usually we would do a recap, but today was a crazy day. Well, it's going to be my 23rd consecutive green day, but it was a very close call. I'm going to finish the morning or the day up $401.22. I was able to get a afternoon trade on AVCO, and with that, I got myself back into the green. But today was no doubt the hardest of the last, 23, 22 days. I just, I wasn't on my game today. I just didn't feel like I was really hot today, and the market wasn't really hot, and I was still more aggressive than I needed to be and got myself pretty deep into the red before I was able to, dig myself out of the hole. So I actually wrote on my calendar minus $2,000 because I thought that that's where I was going to finish the day. So I'm going to cross that out and say plus 401 day 23. And I am pretty fortunate for that. So let's break it down. Well, today was really not that much different from any other day in terms of, the morning routine is pretty much the same. So this morning we had our gap scan here. I'm going to run this scan for 9:25 a.m. Oops, I'm going to have to change that to a.m. Time frame, historical date, a.m. All right, so at 9:25 a.m. this morning, we had basically two stocks that were interesting. We had NAO, which was actually a reverse split stock and has really just sold off since the bell rang. So that one, I looked at it, but it actually wasn't all that great. And then the second one was AVCO, and this is the one that I was really honing in on. Up 66%. I made $8,000 on this stock on Friday, so I have a pretty good, relationship with it, and I was thinking this is going to be probably a pretty good setup. So right out of the gates, I had a long bias. Now you can see this indicator that I've got on my charts right now. This does a couple things. You guys who have eSignal can add it to your eSignal if you want. You have to subscribe to it, but it's kind of cool. So it uses volume and price to draw support or resistance lines. And what you have here are two things. You have boxes that are drawn. The red is the resistance, the green is the support, and the cyan is the point of control. So if you're above the point of control within that box, it's considered bullish, below is considered bearish. And that makes sense. Just looking at this pattern here, all this really has done is outline a bull flag. We've got the top of the flag right here, the red line. We've got the low of the pullback, the blue line, and then green, I guess, is kind of where the stock, came from or something. That line doesn't make as much sense here, but in any case, these two do make sense. And when the stock is trading in between these boxes, the color of the candles are gray, so you're sort of trending. When a new box is about to form, the color is orange. And when you're above the top of the box, the candles are green until a new box is formed. And when you're below the bottom of the box, the candles are red until a new box is formed. So yeah, you guys can get these by going to tazwarriors.com. So Steve, who runs our futures trading room, developed this indicator specifically for trading futures. He uses it for gold, oil, soybeans, corn, everything else. It's available on the Bloomberg terminals, and it's used by institutional traders. It's much easier to use, when you're looking at something that is a little bit more, let's look at it on like DGAZ. something that, for instance, like a commodity is going to be more trend based. So for the most part on this commodity, you would be pretty much short bias, except for the moment where it turns green and then, you know, back to a short bias. So it's kind of like red light, green light. It basically helps you get a better sense of, is the stock bullish or bearish, trending or not trending. So it's helpful kind of like as a training wheels type of tool. And then, you know, the longer you've had it on, the more you can sort of visualize these levels without having those candles there and the boxes there. But anyways, on AVCO, on this one, and also reminder guys, tonight, 7 p.m., I'm hosting a free workshop. Those of you guys on Facebook and YouTube, I'll have the link in the description here. Once we start the workshop, I'll change the links over just so you can, I don't know, download a copy of my ebook or something like that. But up until then, the link will still be there so you guys can register. And you guys in the chat room, you can see the registration on the sidebar. So anyways, on AVCO, out of the gates, I have a long bias on it. And the level that I'm really kind of honing in on is actually right where this blue line is. It's 728. Above 728, I have a very strong long bias because it will be breaking the pivot, which was the high of this candle right here at 9:15. So above 728, I expected a retest of 750, the half dollar, and an immediate test of the pre-market highs of 776. So what I ended up doing on this one was kind of interesting. This isn't one of the strategies that I really teach in a lot of the classes. This one requires a good amount of intuition to be able to trade. It's not the easiest one right out of the gates. So the bell rings and it opens at, let's see, I'm actually gonna bring this down to a 15-second chart here. I'll pull this way back here. I'm gonna go to a 15-second chart because of how volatile it was even in the first 1 minute of the day. All right, and then we'll blow this up here. Move this over. And this was really the only stock on the watch list this morning. There was nothing else here. BioC was a maybe, but I wasn't that interested in it. Okay, so right out of the gates, it's even hard to tell here, but it opens at 698. It dips down to 685. That was the low of this candle wick, this orange candle. And then it surges up. And so what I like to do on these, because I'm really watching so closely this 728 level, I went ahead and put an order on this at 710. So I typed in AVCO and I put an order at 710 like this. And let's see, sort this here. The bell rings, it dips down, and as I start to see some green on the time and sales, I just clicked buy, 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 buy. I was punching it right at 710. I actually was getting filled at 690, 699, and $7 all within 2 seconds. So I'm jumping in, expecting that because I started to see some green on the time and sales, that we were gonna get a little bit of buying. This would squeeze up, knowing if it breaks over 728, it's almost definitely gonna retest pre-market highs. And in that candle, it squeezes all the way up to 745. 745 was a pretty nice move. I sold it at 726, 715, 708, and 702. So I made 1,800 bucks on it, which is about 20 cents on 9,000 shares, but it wasn't really as big of a winner as I kind of hoped it would be. And I was disappointed when it came back down like this. So it came all the way back down to 632, and I was like, dang, you know, this is whippy, it's wild, and it's not giving me that really big move that I was hoping for. All right, so now we're gonna watch it go sideways, and notice the top of this box here is at this level, which was the high of 679. It then breaks that level, turns green, and right here, this for me was a micro pullback. It squeezes up and hits 708. And if we look at the 1 minute chart here, because the 5 minutes not even that helpful. Remember, this is the 15-second chart on the right, and now on the left, we're gonna have the 1 minute chart. You know, in the first 5 minutes of the day, some of these stocks are so volatile that it's worth looking at the 15-second. So it drops down, and then as it squeezes up right here, it just goes straight up. So I got back in at 707, 710, and added at 744. So why did I get in there? That's a weird spot, right? I got in right here and then added right here, or actually I added right up here. So the reason I added right here was because this is what we're seeing right here. This was a small pullback. The high was 708 and then it pulled back for a second. And as it surged back up, I bought right there at 707 and 710 for the break over 708, 6,000 shares. I'm already up 1,800 bucks on the day. It squeezes up to a high of 750. It taps 750. As it's squeezing up, I went ahead and added at 744, thinking that if it broke the high of day of 745, breaking the double, that we would break that double top and squeeze through and retest 776. So now, which was the pre-market high. So now I have 9,000 shares. My target is 775 and my average is 720. So I'm looking at a 50-cent target with 9,000 shares. That's a $4,500 profit target. All right, so profit target's $4,500. That makes sense. Well, the next thing I know, boom, right here, by this candle, it's all the way back down at 7, and it even dips down to 671 right here. So it flushes back down, and as it curled back up, I got back out at, where was this? 697 and 701. And on that, I lost 20 cents on 9,000 shares. So in the first 5 minutes, I made $1,800, and then I gave it right back, and I was down $63 on the day. And I was like, wow, that was crazy. You know, what just happened? All right, so that was my very first trade of the day. Now, I switched gears and took a trade on CHEK. I jumped into this at 390 and stopped out at 388 and 382 and 376 and lost $812 or $821. I'll show you that one. I just want to keep that chart on AVCO as it is. Let me pull up another chart here. Let's see. So on this one, it's definitely been more in the control of the bears today. But I got in on what appeared to be a pretty nice 5-minute setup. I bought right here at 390. It hits a high of 398. My target was a break over 4. I had 10,000 shares. I wanted to see it break 4. Daily resistance, not till 490, the 200 moving average. So I felt pretty good about it, and it immediately rejected, and I stopped out as it came back down. Kind of disappointing because it was a pretty good quality pattern. But anyways, lost almost $1,000 on that. Lost 821. So that put me down $884 on the day. All right, so as of, what was this? Well, that was as of 9:53. So 9:53, I'm down, you know, $800 on the day, and I'm kind of, you know, like, uh-oh, this is not looking good. I am, you know, on a 22-day hot streak, and I'm, you know, coming to the end of the first half hour, and I'm in the red. So I'm watching the scans. AWSM comes up on our high day momentum scanner. CHEK, by the way, was on watch because yesterday or Friday it was strong, and so it was a continuation setup, and it did hit our high day momentum scanner. So I'm going to move that out of the way. Got kind of a cluttered desktop here. So that was CHEK on the high day Momo scanner, whatever. Let's see, BIOC on the scanner, didn't trust it. AWSM. So AWSM comes up on the scanner, and we can see it right here. It comes up to $3, and then it pulls back, and I was like, no, you're not gonna fool me twice. I just lost $800 on the same exact setup on CHEK at almost the same price. I'm not getting into this thing. And what does it do? It breaks $3, and it goes up to 37. So it ends up making a 37-cent breakout, and I sat on the sidelines on it because, you know, on the very beginning of the breakout, I didn't trust it. Well, I ended up taking a 1-minute micro pullback on it, which was right here. All right, so this was the spot where I took a 1-minute micro pullback. This is the first 1-minute pullback after a fresh 5-minute breakout. So this first 5-minute candle hit a high of 315. That price is right here on the 1-minute chart. It pulls back, and as it curls back up, I jumped in at, I think I was testing to see if I had shares available, and I didn't. So I was like, bummer. So I got in at 313, 314, and I actually tried to buy 9,000 shares. But I only filled 2,300 roughly. And I ended up selling them at 18 and 21. So only made a small profit on that. Not that impressive. It ended up hitting a high of 37, but I didn't get back in it. So $124 of profit on AWSM. It ends up going sideways for a little bit, but not able to retest high a day. And then we had DGLY. DGLY, $160, hit the high a day momentum scanner. It's a stock we're familiar with. You can see it hitting right here. So I jumped in this for the break over the $0.50. I got in at 48. It hits a high of 59. I really wanted to see it break that level on this 1-minute micro pullback right here. I was giving it a chance, and then it wasn't able to break over it, and it ended up failing to the downside, as you can see. So I jumped into DGLY, 48.48, sold at 54.56, sold the rest at 40, only 160 bucks. And then we go back to AVCO. So as of that point, I was down 880 bucks, and then I'd made back 124, so I was down 750, and then I made back 160, so I was down about $590, just about $600. All right, so down $600, and that was as of 10:30, and I was like, well, I've got my first meeting, coming up here at 11. I really kind of, don't have a lot more time to trade. But boy, I really don't want to close today red. That's going to be the end of my hot streak. And, I'll be the first to admit that when you have something like a 20-day hot streak, it can get in your head a little bit because, you want so badly to maintain the hot streak. It took 21 days to get, or 22 days to get to this point, and my biggest hot streak ever is 56 consecutive days. The thought of having to start over is, not something I was really enjoying. So I felt, look, I'm down 600 bucks. Typically I would stop trading at 10:30, not because there's not opportunities past 10:30, but because with my schedule, I spend the afternoons working with students. So, generally I would just be done at 10:30 and profits or losses would be what they were. But today that for me was like, no, I'm going to keep looking for opportunities. FFHL hit the scanner. I didn't trust it, didn't take any trades on it. But AVCO, I kept on watch. And this one, I ended up taking a couple trades on it here. You can see first, it breaks the VWAP. It breaks and sells off here. So it's weak. We're obviously weak. And I tried taking a couple of scalps in this area. I'm going to switch this actually back to a 5-minute and change this one back to a 1-minute. So right in this area, I was kind of thinking that it might break over the VWAP. And when it breaks over the VWAP, I'm expecting, probably a retest of at least $7, maybe $7.50. So those are my mental targets. And I just kind of kept watching it. I was stalking it, waiting for an entry. And I ended up taking a couple different trades on it. So let's see. The first trade I took below the VWAP was, let's see. My entry was at 640, and that was at 1031. So that was right as it broke through right here. Now, this was kind of, the high here was 628. So I was watching this, it pulled back, it came back up, and I thought if it broke 628, it would probably, from there start to move back up into the VWAP area. Obviously a high risk setup buying below the VWAP, but in this case, I at least felt the volatility was there, and I took a trade on it. So I jumped into this with 6,000 shares with my hotkey, shift one, but I didn't get filled at 628. I got filled at 640. It hits a high of 649, but that wasn't enough for me to make money. So on that one, I'm in at 640 and I'm out at 638, 636. a little bit at 653 and the rest is 633. I then get back in at 640 as it comes back up a second time. That was, I waited for it a little bit and it came back up right, where was it? Right here. And I jumped in it thinking if it broke over 640, we would break. And I was wrong on that one. And on that one, I was in at 40 and out at 23 and I lost $1,400. So right there, I was down now $2,000 on the day. And I was like, well, this is not good. My day's getting worse. I'm over trading a stock below VWAP. I'm just gonna leave it alone. So I switched gears, had a couple meetings at 11 and then 12 and then 12:30. I still have it on watch. And I see it has finally broken the VWAP. So it curled up here to a high of 683. It then pulled back. As it came back up right here to 683, I could see on the 5-minute that we had this box formed with a high of 683 right here. So I was watching this level and I saw this 1-minute pattern forming and I had my hand there to buy, and once again, it breaks without me. I press shift 1 and I buy 3,000 shares and I'm filled at $7. So I'm in at 7 trying to scalp the break here and it hits a high of 725. So right in here, I made about, I don't know, $200 or something like that, $300. I'm still down about $1,700, $1,800. And then I get back in right here for the break over this little flag, and my target was 750. So on that one right here, I'm back in and we get this move right here all the way up to $8. And on that was 7,000 shares in at 35, 40, and 49. Boom, out here up in this area at 89. I made 12, actually on that one, I made, let's see, I went from being down 1,800 on the day to being up 1,200 on the day. So 18 plus 12 is a $3,000 winner. So I made $3,000 on that trade. And then I got back in for one more trade right here, expecting a break of 790 would lead to a break over 8 and continuation. And I'm back in at, I guess, 83, 85, 85, 4,500 shares. And I stopped out at 71 and 53 and came back down from up 1,200 to up only 400. And I was like, that's it. I'm done for the day. I'm not going to push my luck. And it ended up, I'm watching it here around 8, watching it, not trading, just kind of watching. It ends up here curling up and then boom, look at that. Breaks through 8 and squeezes up to, a high of 925. So I didn't trade it the best that I could have. I overtraded today and, I'm not super happy with how aggressive I was being, but, this is one of those things where I'm at a point where if I am aggressive like I was today, I know that I'm being aggressive. So I'm saying to myself, Ross, you're being pretty aggressive. You have to be careful here. You have to be mindful. And I wasn't throwing money at anything that was moving. I was waiting for good quality opportunities, and I had a really strong feeling that it was going to make a big move, and I just wasn't timing it quite right on most of my trades. I didn't time it quite right on these two. I didn't time it quite right on these two. And then I got it right on this one, but I was a little late to the game. And, but fortunately this was enough to make up for those losses. And then I added back a little bit right here and lost some. So, overall pulled about $1,000 out of AVCO today, lost about 820 on CHEK, and made scratch on a couple other trades. So, green is a good way to finish the day, but this was the most difficult day that I've had in the last, month or so of trading. And overall, I would much prefer to, trade and make my daily goal in 30 minutes than trade for, be watching the market for 4 hours to only make $400. But, one of the things that I say is that, I stopped trading at 10:30, not because there aren't opportunities in the afternoon. There are opportunities in the afternoon. I'm just usually working with students during that time, and it doesn't fit into my schedule to keep trading. And I kind of have to prioritize, my focus. And today, in between meetings, I was able to take a couple of trades and, get myself back into the green. So that's good. I'm happy to be finishing green. The hot streak remains alive. 23rd consecutive green day. And hopefully tomorrow we can make it day 24 with like 2 trades in the first 30 minutes, and then I can just be done for the morning. That is what I would love to do. So I'm going to aim for that tomorrow. I really thought AVCO would be strong right out of the gates, and I was a little too aggressive on it. My ad at 44 was aggressive, and I just didn't expect it to drop, literally from 44 or whatever, where I added right here, it went from 44, all the way back down to 55. I think this one was even halted going, it was halted going down right here. This was a tough one today. So, for all that work, today's going to be a green doji. Well, we've got 9 minutes till the bell. So looks like it's going to be a green doji. Will it be in play tomorrow? Probably. Almost 20 million shares of volume, but not the easiest one. It was a bit of tug of war there. So I think it was probably hard whether you were long or short. And if you made some money on it, give yourself a pat on the back. But hopefully we'll find some easier stocks tomorrow. All right, so that's it for me. I'm going to switch gears here. I've got another meeting, 4 and 5, and then I've got my workshop here tonight at 7 p.m. So I look forward to seeing you guys then. It's going to be a lot of fun. And everyone else, I'll see you guys first thing tomorrow morning, right here, 9:15 for pre-market analysis. All right, see you guys later.
If you're still watching, you must have really enjoyed that video. So why not subscribe and get email alerts anytime I upload new content? Remember, when you subscribe, you become a member of the Warrior Trading family.